Will AI music take over the music industry completely? Let's discuss. Welcome to the In a Nutshell podcast with myself, Andrew Miles Davis, and my co-host Chris Branch. This is the daily 10-minute podcast where we take out all of the techie talk around generative AI and focus on what the everyday person, content creator, and marketer wants to hear. Now, we've only got 10 minutes, so we can only focus on one particular subject. And today we're going to talk about one of our favorite subjects, and that is music. You know, whether we're talking about music production, music marketing, in the music industry, and AI's involvement, that's essentially what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to kind of look at all three. And really, it's saying, is AI music going to take over? And the reason why we're going to address this fully now is because there's been a couple of innovations. There's been a couple of updates that's been happening in the last few weeks that we both believe will change the music industry as we know it. Now, Chris, before I get into the types of platforms, just regarding that whole question, will AI music take over? What's your initial thoughts right now?
I think it will take over certain music genres. I think other musical genres will be less affected, to be honest with you. I mean, that makes total sense to me because I'm an electronic music producer of the old, and I've seen that is a natural progression for electronic music for sure. I mean, honestly, it was largely computer generated already. It will just be generative on top of that. So, I used to specialize in something called DAWs, which are digital audio workstations. This revolutionized the music industry because prior to having one of these pieces of technology on your local computer, you'd have to buy a multi-million-pound studio in order to have the same thing. So you imagine how many people had access to that compared to their home computer digital workstation. That increased it by about 1,000-fold, and generative AI is going to increase it by another 1,000-fold. So it really is going to be some kid on his smartphone types a few words, makes a hit record. Like it sounds ridiculous now, I appreciate that, but like I don't think anyone in the 60s and 70s would have predicted that most of the major musicians in the world would be electronic dance music DJs either.
Yeah. I think, as you mentioned, it's what happened yesteryear might sound crazy then, but actually it's happening now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you talk about the genre of music, I think it's going to hit different genres differently.
Mm-hmm.
I think any music that doesn't have a forward facing or a front facing artist, I think will get hit first. Mm-hmm. So for example, electronic music, funky house music, drum and bass. And the reason I say that is because there's a lot of platforms out there where you can type in a prompt and it creates a song for you.
Mm-hmm.
You can do a prompt where it's even got vocals, but I think when it comes to most, let's say, for example, hip hop or pop music, people kind of fall in love with the artist. So I think that's why I think they will get hit later. They will be affected like hugely. But what you'll see is there's certain sites out there. So one of the sites that we started using is called Suno. So that's Suno. So Suno.ai. Anyone can go and try it. And it's on the version 3. Now, version 1 came out and it kind of showed what's possible. Version 2 came out, and because at the time it was like the only one that could really do what it was doing, it was like, wow. And what it was doing is I type in a prompt. So I type in a prompt and it was create a song, or let's say create a hip hop song about Andrew and Chris doing a podcast on generative AI. And it would do that. And it would create about 30 seconds. But version 3's come out recently. And the quality is so much better. The leap from version 2 to version 3 was like when Midjourney went from version 4 to version 5, which was a big jump.
Staggering leaps.
Yeah. So version 3, you can create write in a prompt and it will create a really unique beat for you and unique lyrics. And it's really when I was playing with around with it, I said, you know what, this is almost there.
Mm.
And the way I say almost is because if I said type an electronic beat, or if I said create a drum and bass beat or create a hip hop beat, in my mind, I kind of know the type of beat I want to create, but it doesn't know. It just kind of goes off of hip hop, and you might even upbeat hip hop or like a slow tempo or this many beats per minute, drum and bass, etc. You can do all of that. But when you be able to put references, when I can upload this song, I don't know, let's say Lean Back by Fat Joe, I put in that song and I say use these particular drum patterns and this particular snare and this particular beats per minute, something similar to this, but don't copy it because I don't want to get sued if I ever release it. That's where it becomes a game changer. Like what you can do in Midjourney, where you can put character reference or references. That I think is going to be where everything goes completely like ludicrous. And I
Yeah.
think that's only a matter of time before it happens.
Something you mentioned earlier, though, pop music. One of the things that I found when I was doing my degree is that a lot of pop music is written in similar keys, and they all
Mm.
use like major chords, and it's all quite similar. There's even a Tenacious D song where they play the same four chords in a row, and then they sing 25 back-to-back number one hit pop songs. So, in terms of diversity in a genre, I actually think pop music might be one of the first to go.
The reason why I think it'll be okay is creating a pop song is not a difficult thing,
Right.
because most pop songs, it's what they'll do is they'll right. We've got our beat makers, we've got our producers, we've got our songwriters.
Mm.
We just need to get someone to be the face of
The
it, and
face.
make that person someone that the kids love or someone that whoever loves, and they can be the one. Just Justin Bieber ticks the box. Britney Spears ticks the box. Groups like
Okay.
the boy band groups, One Direction, NSYNC, they
So
tick the box.
let me give
Mm.
you an option B then. What if it was a digitally AI generated version of Justin Bieber that had the perfect haircut in every single image, and that they could be, you know, they're similar to the way we've seen the Instagram AI
Yeah.
influencers that are totally digital. And now, do you think it's coincidence
Mm.
that music videos are now being generated, music itself is being generated, and character developments all come at the same time? Is that a coincidence, or is
Ah,
it literally
conspiracy
leading to?
theories coming in.
I
You know what?
genuinely think the next big pop
Yeah.
stars will come as a mash of those three things.
Yeah. I well, the thing is, I can't speak for a younger generation. For me, I can't see myself. Say, I love my hip hop. I can't see myself thinking, yeah, this AI generated rapper is as good as whether you be old school rappers like Big Daddy Kane or
Mm.
people like Notorious B.I.G. and Tupac, or even rappers of today. Now, I'm into battle rap as well. So are they better than the Holler the Dons and the Easy the Block Captains and all people like that? So I can't see me, but I can't speak for a generation below me or even a generation below that. You know, they
You see,
might be cool.
you've just hit on a subject which is, I think, the most important thing, and that is, why do you listen to music?
Yeah,
Because if you listen to music to empathize with other humans and their battles and struggles in the world, then that's what you're looking for.
yeah,
But I listen to music without lyrics, that's electronic dance music, and I just like melodies.
yeah.
And so
That's the thing. Yeah,
I listen for melodies, and if it's
mm,
got a catchy melody, I'll listen to it on repeat 100 times. So,
yeah.
you know, it's all about why you listen to music, and therefore whether or not a generated version of EDM, which would be perfect for me, you know, you just feed it all of Dead Mouse's old
Mm,
albums and say, spit me out a new one. I'd
yeah.
listen to that on repeat. Daft
And
Punk, the same, anything like that, you know?
so that means when it comes to this, as I was saying, it's like when you take out the people who fall in love with the artist and
Mm.
you're just stripped to the beats and the melodies, which you're looking at billions of people in the world that likes that. You can do this now. Anyone could do this on a
Yeah,
platform now. And
totally.
I just think it's a case of just trying to work out how it tweaks. Because this is what it's like now. You know, imagine in a year's time. So this goes into we're going to do an episode on this very soon, which is AI versus the music industry. Now, when we say the music industry, we're going to separate music business versus music artists because one of them is going to flourish and
Mm.
one of them, I think, they're going to be writing letters, open letters to people saying these platforms are taking our likeness. So you can try and guess which one I think is going to flourish or not. So in a nutshell, when it comes to music, the question will always be, and something that's going to happen, is this the moment now in music where AI will take over?